What is going on, guys? Today I'll be going over my journey from being a white belt in Taekwondo to now being a yellow belt. This video is mainly for someone that's kind of on the fence of trying Taekwondo. I'm not too sure what to expect. So this will be mostly for them and just to highlight my journey. So yeah, let's get right into it. So I'll be honest with you guys, when you start Taekwondo, you're probably going to be confused for the first little bit, which is completely normal. Especially if you're an English speaker and you don't speak Korean and you're hearing all these terms in Korean, it could be a lot to take in the first little bit. But also you're going to be doing different kicks, you're going to be doing different stances or patterns. So that's also going to be a part of the confusion as well, but try not to overthink it. Take it one step at a time. You got a ton of time to learn it, and your instructors will usually help you out with the little parts that you're kind of messing up on or confused on. So my personal experience when I started Taekwondo, the physical stuff wasn't too bad because I started out with boxing and Muay Thai when I was around, say, 18 or 19. So the whole physical fitness part wasn't really too much of a difference for me. The big thing that really stood out for me, I would say, would probably be, I'd say the terminology. Like, just because I only speak English, I don't speak any other second or third language. So trying to learn like potentially another language while learning certain kicks, and also being introduced to patterns, like from me coming from boxing and stuff like that. We don't really do patterns. We usually just show up for class, do our pad work, bag work, maybe do a little slipping drills or footwork drills, but never anything that's like patterns per se. So that's a whole new thing for me, right? Trying to memorize a specific pattern for each tier or level as you're progressing through Taekwondo. So when it comes to doing patterns as a white belt, you're going to start off with Sajiruki. That's 14 movements, and that translates to 4 directional punch. That's going to be the first thing you're going to be learning, unless you're learning, say, kicking techniques or how to keep your hands up. Very, very basic stuff in the beginning if you have no martial arts background. Then after that, you're going to be going to Sajumaki, which is a 16 movement pattern, and that is 4 directional blocks. So that's what you're going to learn usually after your first stripe, at least in my experience. And in the beginning, it is daunting, right? Even Sajiruki, like that was actually pretty daunting in the beginning. Now it's got to the point where it's like second nature, right? Because now you're learning Chon-Ji, and then when you go to yellow belt, I believe it's Dangun. I believe that's the one I actually got to learn for my next step. But yeah, as you see these different patterns and how many movements there is, what's the meaning of it, it does become second nature over time. It's just one of those things, you just get the reps in and eventually becomes second nature. So that's one of the things. You just don't overthink it, right? Like, go with the flow, relax, take your time. No one's going to get mad at you for doing patterns a bit slow at first, as long as you get it correct. And it shows that you care, right? So I don't know any instructor personally that's going to really get mad at you for going slow, especially if you're fairly new to martial arts as a whole anyways. Alongside the patterns, you're also going to learn stuff called 3 steps. So there's going to be 3-step number 1, which you're going to learn alongside a Sajiruki. And that's essentially like a few moves. That's like essentially an offensive and defensive version that's in the one. So you'll learn your Sajiruki, your movements there. You'll do your 3-step number 1. You'll get those. And you also pick up terminology based on your level as you go along. When you go for your first test for your single stripe, essentially what you're going to be doing is Sajiruki, 3-step number 1. You're going to be asking questions, making sure you know the terminology, like say like gun and sogi is walking stance, making sure you know your punches, certain stances, stuff like that, which is going to be stuff like you're going to be learning along the way anyways, right? If there is something that kind of confuses you, like terminology or how to do this kick or how to space out your feet for a certain pose or position, you can always just ask someone that's beside you, because typically there is going to be more than just you there. But typically most people are fairly helpful, and they are understanding that you're still brand new to this, so you're not going to get it right away. You're screw up a few times, that's fine. Just correct yourself and keep on learning and keep pushing ahead, right? And that's all you can ask for, and you'll get better right away or over time, right? The good thing about gyms is that when you go there, you're not going to be the only person there, and you're obviously not going to be the highest belt because you just started. So what helps is like talking to peers around you, because a lot of them have been doing this for X amount of time longer than you. So they already know certain parts of the curriculum that'll help you out. So if you ever get confused, just say, hey, like, what does this mean in Korean? Or how do I say it in Korean so I don't get confused? And most times they are nice. Like, I don't really see anyone that are really rude in gyms. That's kind of more like a movie stereotype. But most of the nicest people I always met were in martial arts gyms, and they're very helpful if you ask, and they see that you're actually trying, right? Like, no one's going to hate on that. So essentially what you're going to do after all that is that you're going to go for your test. You're going to pass it. You're going to get your first stripe. You're going to go back to training for X amount of months till the next testing. Then you're going to go for your second stripe. And as a white belt, you're going to be doing essentially Sajumaki, 3-step number 2, and slightly building on that terminology, and also, building on your technique, your fundamental kicks, stuff like that. You're also going to be doing like your 4-directional kick, which essentially is a snap kick, side kick, back kick, and turning kick. You're also going to have to know those in Korean, but those are very basic terms. So there'll be like apchugi, which is, snap kick, Then you got your side kick, which is yup chuggy. Then you got your back kick, which is doichi chuggy. And then you got your turning kick, which is essentially doyo chuggy. Those are the 4 kicks you be typically doing the most in the beginning. And that's all you really got to go for. So once you keep building those blocks, it kind of snowballs, right? Like it's almost like interest. You're just slowly building on the previous information you learned and just getting better and better as the months go on. So as time goes on right now, you're going to be a white belt with 2 stripes. And after a few months in your training, keep going, the next test is going to come again. And essentially you're going to go for a yellow belt. And with the yellow belt, essentially, it's a bit more harder, or at least for me, because that's where I'm at right now. I found like Sajiruki, Sajimaki, 3-step number 1, 3-step number 2. They were all fairly quick to get for me at least. And then when I got the Chon-Ji, because the way you pivot 180, doing certain stance parts of it, and then you gotta like get introduced to L stance, which I'm still not really comfortable with yet. I'm doing it okay, but I do want to brush up on it. But it is like, you know, still learning a whole new stance. So you gotta learn like the name of it as well. The distancing, it's gonna be 70-30 for weight distribution, stuff like that. So you do want to get better at that as time goes on. But it was a bit difficult for me because for that movement, Chon-Ji is 19 movements. But you also got to memorize the meaning of Chon-Ji. It's not just like the other ones where it's like 4 directional punch, 4 directional block. There's a full meaning to it. So you also got to memorize that. And you also got to memorize what the meaning of white belt is for your other previous tests too. So it's just a lot of information at that point in time to kind of memorize and understand before going into the testing period. And I'll be honest with you guys, like when I did my test for my yellow belt, I didn't feel that confident halfway through because I didn't know my L stance was kind of off. Like I didn't know I had to kind of have my foot a certain way, and I messed up on that. Like I solely focused on the 70-30 for the weight distribution on certain legs. So that's all I wanted to make sure I got good for. And at the time before the test, I felt fairly confident. I knew it wasn't perfect at that time, sure, but I thought I was at a bit higher level than I thought I was, feeling just a bit more confident because you do need confidence some level, right? Like when you're doing your movements and stuff like that, you don't want to be like kind of fidgety, and you know, all your trainers will see that. They'll know that you're not really confident in your movements, and it shows in your performance. So when you're doing your patterns, like, you know, have confidence, make sure you really snap that certain movement, make sure there's power and speed behind it and intent, because you're going to see some people with patterns that go really slow and there's no like umph to it, right? There's no power, there's no speed, there's no like style to it, right? Like you want to make sure you're doing your stuff correct, but also give it the right impact that it deserves. But that being said, there's also some terminology stuff and history stuff that I also didn't really understand or know, because I thought I did know, but then I got caught with one question that caught me off guard, which was pretty much how many patterns are in Taekwondo. And I'm thinking it was 21 for some reason. I don't know why I thought that at the time. Maybe it was just information I read that was misinformation at the time. I don't know. Or it could be me just flustered in the moment, kind of overthinking, overanalyzing. You know, people get nervous, anxious and stuff for tests. That's also normal. But then he told me pretty much it was 24 movements, because there's also X amount of movements or patterns after black belt, which I wasn't aware of, right? Because I wasn't even thinking that far ahead at that point in time. I was just thinking, okay, what is at yellow belt for information? I wasn't even thinking beyond yellow belt and history and say certain amount of patterns after black belts. But it was an eye opener, right? But you know, when you do a test and you get 1 or 2 wrong, you're always going to think, God, like that's it. Like I screwed up. I got to come back in X amount of time and redo this. And to my fault, like I was one of those people. But then again, I guess I did decent enough to get to my yellow belt, which granted me to, you know, obtain it, which I am grateful for. It was a fun journey right now, and I'm still going to continue that journey. But it's also just looking at myself like, man, I should have really studied more and did more, because I had no clue. And I just, personally, I don't really like going into something that I don't really know all the information. I like to know a certain amount of questions and the answers for it, just so I know the information that I can answer right away, be confident, get out of the way, and it's all done. That's just me. I like to get it done quick and be done efficiently. So as for the journey itself, I will admit, honestly, it's going by really quick. Like, even though I'm just a yellow belt currently, it felt like yesterday I was just starting out, like just being a white belt and having no clue what any of this stuff meant, no clue on patterns, no clue on 3 steps, no clue on 4 directional kicks, none of that. But now it's like second nature, right? Because over time, you're just building more information over and over, and like, you know, you're always building on it. So you're always getting better and better as each session goes on. But as for the people that are kind of curious about Taekwondo and haven't really, you know, made the jump to try it, my suggestion is just go to any Taekwondo gym that interests you, right? It could be WT, or personally me, I do ITF. You can go there, and most gyms typically have a 1 or 2 day trial. So you can go and check it out free of charge and just kind of see how the environment is. Do you like the class, how it goes, stuff like that, right? Because you got to be comfortable when you're learning, right? Because if you're not comfortable, you're not going to learn either. So I'd say, you know, just try that trial class, see how it goes. You never know, you might fall in love with it right away and keep doing it for X amount of years, right? So why not? And costs no money, just maybe like an hour of your time. What are you going to be doing for an hour? Maybe watching like a movie or a TV show? Why not try to learn a new skill and have fun doing it? So that's it for today, guys. That's just to kind of show you my insight on Taekwondo, and hopefully this motivates you to kind of get out of your comfort zone and actually try Taekwondo, because it is a very fun martial art and it's very rewarding as well. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you want to show some support, just follow me below or follow me on Future. See you guys in the next one.